Testing, testing. This is still. Hmm. I don't know what's going on. Okay, don't know, don't know, don't know, don't know. You can hear me now. You hear me now? Because I was about to end the show and that was going to be it. All right. Well, now I'm all off my mojo and what have you. But anyway, all right. So let me get myself back together here. So what I was saying was I want to talk about nasty people. I want to talk about people who are nasty. They're nasty personalities, nasty bodies, nasty souls, nasty minds, just nasty people in general. So, all right. So I'm going to start off with a clip, and we're just talking about nasty personalities, but this person is probably nasty anyway. So we're going to start off with a clip.
Schumer has become like a Palestinian. Chuck Schumer, Jewish, always strong for Israel. He's become like a Palestinian.
You should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian, but they don't like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one. I come from New York. I knew Schumer. He's become a Palestinian. He's a Palestinian now.
I have to say, I just find this unfathomably disgusting. Disgusting, vile, odious.
So, first of all, he's totally dogging Palestinians. He's dogging and dissing Jewish people. He's, I guess, totally dissing Chuck Schumer. I mean, what was that? What was that? But you have a certain, population who feels that that's okay, and they revel in that type of nastiness. And unfortunately, that's what our country has become. We have become what Hillary Clinton said back in 2016, deplorable people. And when Trump called Hillary nasty back in 2016, it was like, have you ever looked at your own potty mouth? Have you ever really taken a look at the things that you have said, the vitriol, the hatred, that comes out of your mouth? So that is one way of being nasty. It just doesn't make sense. For people to what's the word I want to use? To approve that type of messaging, but they do all the time. Now, I'm going to switch it up a little bit because there was a time when I was in a space, and I talked about it on this show, where someone said that they didn't bathe. Or I take that back. They bathe like every 3 days. Now that right there is just cringe-worthy for me, because I'm one of those people who constantly has the hand sanitizer and the wipey wipes and all that other stuff, and I just can't. I just can't. I just can't. So I'm gonna play a clip for y'all. And this clip just has me gross. It has my hands itching. It just has me just okay. Let me share.
I made the conscious decision to stop washing my hands. I think when I was in college.
Was it college for you?
I don't know. That's when I remember it because one of my good friends from college also doesn't wash her hands, and it was like how we had that bonding experience. One day I was like, I'm just not gonna wash them. She was like, I'm not either. I don't wash my hands.
I don't really trust people that wash their hands because, well, one, I don't think it does anything to actually wash. It doesn't do anything to actually wash them.
I do wash if I
They
go
didn't-
number 2.
They didn't used to wash them back in like way back in the day when they didn't have, and you would go to the bathroom out in the outhouse. Nobody washed their hands then, and there was less diseases.
I sometimes like when my roommate's home, I'll have to like turn the water on because I'm like I don't want them to think I'm like disgusting.
I'll like text. I'll like turn the water on and like take a text break
No,
and be
literally,
like,
I'm like, When you're at work and someone that you know goes into the stall, you're like, well, I guess I'll fake washing my hands now.
we're always in the bathroom with Kate, and I'm always like,
We also don't shower.
You turn on the water to take a text break, so you just had your hand, women, up your cuckoo, even though the one said that she will wash her hands if she does a number 2. But you're not washing your hands and you're touching your phone. Now, your phone is already like dirty. Your phone is one of the nastiest things. And yes, I am one of those people who I am constantly wiping my phone down, and I never, ever put my phone down. Like if I'm in the store and I'm paying for something, whatever, I never, ever put my phone down on the counter, ever. It always goes into my pocket, whatever. But how do you not wash your hands when you come out the bathroom? How do you not? Hell, I'm using a paper towel just to open up the door if the door opens inward as opposed to outward. I mean, how do you not wash your hands? And then when the one girl said, back in the old days, those people never got diseases because they never washed their hands. Really? Let's think about this. Let's think about how many people died because of poor hygiene. I mean, I am truly not understanding how you do not wash your hands. And I'm sorry for a moment. I need to send this show to someone I said that I would. Okay. So, how do you not wash your hands? Which takes me to, how do you only bathe 3 times? Every 3 days or once a week, or only when it's hot outside, or, there are some people who have told me that they don't really bathe in the winter because in the winter you're not sweating. So again, I go to, okay, you may not be bathing the armpits and what have you, but what's down below the waist, you need to wash that every single day. And some people need to soak it. I mean, how do you not wash your ass? This is, I truly don't understand that. I truly don't understand how people can think that's okay. Can you imagine dating someone and they tell you that they don't bathe? Or when you go somewhere with someone, they always have a smell about them. I was reading a story the other day on a particular platform where this one 16-year-old boy was playing a game of cards with his family. And he kept saying, "What's that smell? What's that smell?" Everybody else started sniffing. It was him. It was him. And it was his ass. Because when he went to the bathroom to do his number 2, he wasn't wiping his ass. How do you not do that? Can you imagine your underwear? I don't know. You're going to have to explain a lot to me. You are going to have to explain a lot of this to me, like how people are actually doing this. Now, I have another video to show you. And this one is kind of, this one's gross. So I'm going to have to probably take myself off the camera here because, yeah. Okay, here we go.
Why you should think twice about using somebody else's shower. One survey found that 68% of men and 56% of women pee in the shower. And if that's not gross enough for you, 47% of people blow their nose in the shower. And if that's not gross enough for you, 12% of people poo in the shower. Who does this? Oh yeah, that's right. This is why you should think twice about using somebody else's shower. One
Anybody? 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 It. And the sad part is, the sad part is that people do those things. And I'm going to say, and I'm not going to out this person, but if this person is watching the show or watches a rerun of the show or anything else, I am going to say this. Someone on my Podbean show last year, I cannot remember the title, but in the chat, this person said, when he and his brother were little, they used to poop in the shower. and use their feet to smush it down the drain. When I read that, and the person it was coming from, I was just done. I was done. I was absolutely, welcome back, Black. I was just absolutely, I was, how do you how do you just how just how? That's, I mean, again, when you just think about how nasty people are, you know, and people laugh at me sometimes because I'm like, you know, I'll go through my whole theatrics, and sometimes I can get very theatrical because, and my, you know, I'll openly turn my nose up like, are you kidding me? And I always have to have my sanitizing wipes, and, you know, I'm one of those people when I get on the plane, I'm wiping everything down. I'm even wiping because I read this and I thought about it. I'm like, it's true. You know, when you on the plane, the air vent, whatever, I'm even wiping that because they were talking about the amount of bacteria that is on there because people are touching it. And these are things that don't get clean. You know, it's not just your food tray or whatever, but, you know, I don't put stuff in I never put stuff in the pocket of the plane thing, the pocket where the instructions and you know the survival instructions are, whatever. I never use that, you know, because when they were talking about just all the bacteria, you know, people are putting diapers in there, people are blowing their nose and putting tissues in there, you know, people are, I mean, just the amount of grossness in one particular place. You know, when you go to a restaurant to eat and what have you, and you know, I try to always have some with me, but yeah, I do, you know, sometimes bring my alcohol wipes because I am wiping off the silverware, because I don't know who's touching it. I don't know if, you know, some, you know, you you just don't know. You just don't know. And the whole thing with the shower, using other people's shower, when you think about it, people are peeing in their shower. People are blowing their nose in their shower. People are doing, you know, and it's like, how often do people clean their showers? How often do people clean their bathtubs? I mean, I grew up in a household that when you took a bath, right after you took a bath, you let the water out, you clean the tub. You got the kitchen cleanser or whatever, and you clean the tub. You know, it was like no one should have to go after you in a dirty tub. But you know, but I just can't fathom why people are so nasty. So since Blunt came back, I'm gonna do the shower one more time. Okay, so here we go.
In the shower. And if that's not gross enough for you, 47% of people blow their nose in the shower.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to start it from the beginning. Let me start it from the beginning. All right.
This is why you should think twice about using somebody else's shower. One survey found that 68% of men and 56% of women pee in the shower. And if that's not gross enough for you, 47% of people blow their nose in the shower. And if that's not gross enough for you, 12% of people poo in the shower. Who does this? Oh yeah, that's right. This is why you should
Oh, what's wrong? What's wrong, blood? What's wrong? I mean, so the next time you spend the night over your cousin's house, your bestie's house, your man's house, your lady's house, your children. Next time you have people who come over and spend the night with you, and they're like, okay, I'm going to take a shower. You're like, oh okay. Lord. So I'm gonna give y'all a little thing that I do, because I am a germaphobe. I am, and I don't like spending the night over other people's houses, not because of what they do in the shower or whatever. I just feel more comfortable when I go places. I like to stay in a hotel, and even then, I'm eyeing the sink and the shower and stuff like that. I never use the tub in a hotel. But this is something, again, that I read, and I've been doing it for like the last 3 years, and I find that it does work. I still clean my shower, I still do that deep clean, but every time I get out of the shower, I have some Dawn dish detergent or dish whatever, and I squirt it around on the floor of the shower, and then I'll throw some up on the shower walls, whatever, and I just let it sit. It just stays there. It stays there until I go to take another shower. And what happens is when you turn the water on, like most people, you turn the water on and it's like running for maybe a minute or two before you actually get in, and the floor of the shower is being cleaned, and because it's sat there for however long, it's soaking in to the thing. And I have found that when I started doing that, the floor of my shower was actually cleaner, and it was actually easier for me to clean my shower. And that's just something that I do. If I ever go over someone's house and I have to take a shower, I have my little small bottle of Dawn dish detergent that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I have that with me. Then again, I carry Dawn with me a lot because it comes in handy when it comes to cleaning stuff. So, well, sorry. Sorry. And A says she's done talking to humans, so it's just the fact that when you think of things that you do on the daily, when you think of things that you do from day to day, you're always seeing someone who is being nasty to someone else. When I say they're being nasty to someone else, I'm saying they're being rude. They're being just a disrespectful person. And then you see people who are just nasty, just in their hygiene. You just shake your head and see just the many ways people can be nasty. And sometimes it's shocking how nasty people can be to other people. Now, yesterday, I don't know if you caught this or if you were asleep on Discord when we were talking about this. I did not know that in prison they recycle underwear. When I say recycle, meaning they supposedly sanitize, and when they're giving out underwear and bras, that they're giving you something that somebody else has worn. I don't worry, Blunt. I went in and I just connected you when we were done. You know, I just wouldn't it be nice if we lived in a society where everybody's hands and asses were automatically clean, that you didn't have to rely on another person to clean themselves, because if they don't, they can potentially make you sick. I mean, how many times have we seen those videos of people in restaurants fixing your food and they're scratching, you know, not on the outside of their pants, but on the inside, and they're still making your food. You know, forget the hair net. You need nets for your hands. I mean, think about it. And when that one girl said, well, you know, back in the olden times, they didn't wash their hands. No, they didn't. But probably a lot of people were sick. And I seriously want to ask this girl, would you want someone who did not wash their hands to make you a sandwich at Subway, or cook your food if you went to a nice place to eat? Would you want someone who did not wash their hands when they came out the bathroom to flip your Big Mac and get it ready and put it in the package for you? I don't understand that reasoning. I don't understand that thinking. And I understand that there are people who don't have access to soap. They don't have access to water on the daily. I understand that. I understand that there are people who are in situations where they do have to shower after other people. They do have to use the same bathrooms and the same toilets and what have you. I understand that. But does that mean that the person who went in there before you has to be nasty and leave it nasty? Does that mean that you have to leave it nasty for someone else? And for those men who can't aim well, okay, you can't aim well. Can you clean it up? Do I have to go into, you know, you have places in people's homes where you go into the bathroom and it smells like piss. Now, you, the person who made the mess, does that not bother you? Does it not bother you that if you have people who come over your house and they ask to use your washroom, does it not bother you that they're going to a bathroom that smells like piss, that's nasty? It would bother me. It would bother me, and I would not want anyone in my bathroom. And if my bathroom's like that, then more than likely my house is in some type of disarray too. I'm not talking about you got a couple of clothes here and things are thrown around or whatever. I'm talking about uh, what I want to say. Um, People who just are just nasty. They're just nasty. Maybe they are desensitized. Maybe they are. Maybe they are desensitized to the point where um they've been living like that for so long, it just doesn't bother them. I don't know. I was a notary, and about 10 years ago, um, maybe, probably, it was longer than 10 years ago because it was before 2010. And this was during the housing boom. A lot of people were buying houses, especially out here in California. And I had to have some people, this couple, sign their loan docs. And I went to their house and they opened up the door, and the stench that hit me at the door, it was literally like they had tons of dogs that consistently peed in their house and they never cleaned it up. And I'm holding my nose and I walk in and I see like these 3 German shepherds that are outside. But literally, I can't breathe. I literally cannot breathe. The smell of ammonia in urine was so incredibly strong. My eyes started to water and I started to cough, and I said, we're gonna have to do this outside. And they're looking at each other and they're like, what? Why? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't come in here. I said, I cannot take the smell. And they looked at each other and they literally said, what smell? Maybe that's the desensitized part. And I said, the smell of dog urine. And the husband said, you smell that? I said, you don't? And I said, I'm sorry. I said, either you can arrange for someone else to come out, but I cannot come into your house. I cannot. They were pissed. But we went over to my car and they signed everything on the hood of my car. Mainly because if they had to switch it, get someone else, it would have probably taken a couple of days, and they want their loan to go through. But pungent. I don't know about that. I mean, it is a pungent smell, but pungent to me, is that the right word when you're talking about dog urine? I mean, it's almost like when my son was little and we were changing his diapers, and we had one of those diaper baggy things that you after you change your diaper, you put in the thing and you're supposed to twist it, whatever. I had to get rid of that thing because it did not. I would go into his room and it smelled like dirty diapers. It smelled like like diapers, like wet diapers. I got rid of that thing. It's like when I was changing diapers, I just took the diaper and I threw it outside. When I was finished, I took it outside. But dog urine, I mean, literally, it was like it had soaked into the carpet and they never cleaned it up. Now, I have 3 dogs. You're indoor dogs. One of them has accidents. I clean it up. It's not soaking into carpets or anything. And I also have a carpet cleaner that I'm constantly using, whatever. But all that to say is, I have been over people's houses that have multiple dogs, big dogs, little dogs, and their houses don't smell like that. And the fact that you can get used to that, I mean, literally, when I went in there, my eyes started to water, and every time I took a breath, it was literally getting into my throat where I couldn't breathe. That's a biohazard. And for them to be in there constantly living like that, I don't even know if they had kids, because to take a, diaper genie, yes, diaper genie. I had to get rid of it because to me it wasn't working. To me, you can still smell it. Like you go into daycare places and you smell dirty diapers. I have a problem with that. I'm sorry. I could not leave my kid someplace where you go into a daycare and you smell dirty diapers. That's a problem for me. But people are nasty. People are it's interesting, when you sit and people watch, whether you're at a park, whether you are at a store, whether you're in a mall. You don't even have malls anymore. You're at the airport, train station, wherever. You just sit and you people watch, and you hear the way people talk to each other or talk to each other. And you hear the way some parents talk to their children, how some children talk to their parents, and how nasty people can be. Unaware that someone's watching you. And in some cases, people are recording you so they can post it on social media. I'm a people watcher. Some things I'm watching and it makes me giggle and laugh, and other times I'm just shaking my head. But there are times that I've seen things where people have just been downright nasty, and I'm talking about hygiene nasty. I don't get it. I truly don't get it. How do you marry someone or you want to be with someone and they don't wash their hands? How do you not teach your child or your children to wash their hands when they come out of the bathroom or when they're finished using the bathroom? Now, I said I have 3 dogs. I'm constantly washing my hands. I pet one, wash my hands. Here come the other 2. They want to get pet also. Or sometimes I'll wash my hands and they'll all run up to me and I'm like, nope, I just wash my hands. I can't pet you, whatever. I just can't. But again, like that's a learned behavior. That's a learned behavior. I mean, that's something that you learn to do. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all another story. I said I was a notary. Okay, so I went to this one house where husband, wife, very nice, sitting at their dining room table, and their son came out, and I just saw him out of the corner of my eye, and I saw that he was mentally disabled. He was he was mentally disabled. So there was a washroom right across from the dining room. He goes into the washroom, doesn't shut the door, and he uses the washroom. One thing I cannot stand is listening to somebody pee. That bothers me. All right, that bothers me. He comes out, flushes the toilet, and they say, "Oh, so and so, this is." They introduced me. He puts his hand out to shake my hand, and I looked at his hand, and I said, "Hi." And he's putting his hand out. I'm like, "How are you?" And the mother says, "He wants to shake your hand." And I looked at her. I said, "I'm sorry." I said, I don't shake hands. I should have said I have a cold, but I didn't. I said, I don't shake hands. And her husband looked at each other. And the boy is still standing there. And I'm not touching his hand. I am not touching that boy's hand. I'm not doing it. And so he looks at me, the boy looks at me, he looks dejected, whatever, he walks away. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting stuff together for him to sign. And then the father says to me, "Why didn't you shake his hand? All he wanted to do is shake his hand." And the mother was like, "Why didn't you shake his hand?" And I looked at her, I said, "Your son just used the washroom and didn't wash his hands. I cannot shake his hand." They looked like they wanted to kill me. It's not that big of a deal. You couldn't. No, I can't. So we finished the signing and they pretty much pushed me out the door, which was fine. But I'm saying to myself, you're raising someone who you want to be socially, you want that person to interact socially. And I understand that. And I'm not someone to shake hands anyway. I don't like shaking hands. And in the United States, the handshaking is a big deal. In a lot of other countries, it isn't. And this was pre-COVID. Like I said, this was like before 2010. And if you're raising someone to be socially, who you want to interact socially with people, you got to teach them certain things. Now, I don't care if he was mentally disabled or if he were a genius. You don't wash your hands. I'm not shaking your hand. There are many people whose hands I have not shook their hands because of the fact that I know that when they came out of the bathroom, they didn't wash their hands. I'm not doing it. Does that make me a B? For some people, probably. But don't call me that to my face. But I also have the right to decline. I have the right to decline to be around you if you are a nasty person because you're just a mean person. You're an evil person. You're just not nice. I have the right to decline not being around you. And there are people who I have distanced myself from because they're not nice people, or they were not nice people. Some of these people were downright mean, and they thought it was funny. They thought it was funny to go to a restaurant to eat and to humiliate the waiter. They thought it was funny in school to humiliate another classmate because of this, or this. I don't want to be around you. I choose. I'm making a personal choice to decline, to decline being around you. So I ask the people who don't practice good hygiene, I bet you wouldn't want to be around me if I were a mean person, if I constantly bullied you or bullied your kid, make fun of him or her. You wouldn't want to be around me. Why do I want to be around someone who does not practice good hygiene? I'm sorry. I may be overkill. I'm one of those people that when I come in from outside, especially if I'm out and about, I wash my hands. And my hands are usually dirty. You're opening doors. You're pushing shopping carts. Yeah, you have a little wipey wipes a day. You can wipe the cart, whatever. But your hands are dirty. Your hands are out there touching things. I wash my hands before I go into my refrigerator. But that's just me. And I also choose to be around people who we may not agree on a lot of things, have completely different personalities. But I choose to be around people who are not nasty, who are not mean, who don't talk about people because of the way they look, the way they talk, the way they do their hair. They're big, they're small, whatever. I choose to be around people based on their personality and based on their heart. And usually that comes out. Everybody's not going to like everybody. But I can tell you one thing, you can have the best heart out there and the biggest heart, but if you're nasty in terms of hygiene, we going to have to love from afar. We are going to have to love from afar. And there are people who I've had to tell, there are people who I've had to tell, you need to hit that shower. Hey, crazy lady. You need to hit that shower. You need to, yeah. So, Blunt and Crazy Lady, and I think Frankie's here. Oh, I saw her. So I am going to play this one again because I don't think they were here when I played this one. I I will love everyone from afar after this show, even my own kids. You know. First of all, you know how your kids are, but I mean, seriously, it's I just think about my son because when he washes his hands, and I don't think I taught him this, but he does this, and I realize that I do it too. When I wash my hands, I am washing my hands up like past my wrist. You know, that's the way I wash my hands. And I was watching him one day when he was washing his hands, and he was, getting off the lather and doing this, and he was doing the fingernails, and he's washing his hands, whatever. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, he's washing his hands like he's about to do surgery. And Thomas made that comment to me, the other day or last week when I was telling him how I wash my hands. And maybe so, but that's another thing too. It's when you I'm going to play this, and then I'm going to come back to what I'm going to say. So, all right. So this is for people who were not here at the very beginning when I was playing this. So. Wait, hold on. Let me. All right, here we go.
I made the conscious decision to stop washing my hands. I think when I was in college.
Was it college for you?
I don't know. That's when I remember it because one of my good friends from college also doesn't wash her hands, and it was like how we had that bonding experience. One day I was like, I'm just not gonna wash them. She was like, I'm not either. I don't wash my hands.
I don't really trust people that wash their hands because, well, one, I don't think it does anything to actually wash. It doesn't do anything to actually wash them.
I do wash if I go number 2.
They didn't used to wash them back in like the way back in the day when they didn't have, and you would go to the bathroom out in the outhouse. Nobody washed their hands then, and there was less diseases.
I sometimes, like, when my roommate's home, I'll have to like turn the water on because I'm like, I don't want them to think I'm like disgusting.
I'll like text. I'll like turn the water on and like take a text break and be like,
I'm like, When you're at work and someone that you know goes into the stall, you're like, well, I guess I'll fake washing my hands now.
we're always in the bathroom with Kate, and I'm always like,
We also don't shower.
Okay, so I have this question. If you have to turn on the water to fake wash your hands, to let people think you're washing your hands, why not just wash your hands? Why not just wash your hands? Why not just wash your hands? Now, getting back to what I was going to say is your fingernails hold germs. And yes, I am one of those people that when I wash my hands, I am doing this also because, excuse me, I just had my hand up my cuckoo, whatever. So again, I say, do you want people who are fixing your food not to wash their hands? So if you're not washing your hands after you come out the bathroom and you've just done a number 2, and yes, there are people who don't wash their hands after they do that. Can you imagine the bacteria that's on their hands, that are under their nails? I'm just saying. When I work in my garden, and if I'm transplanting some plants, and I have my gloves on, I have rubber gloves, and I have just regular cloth gloves, depending upon what I'm doing. But if I have on cloth gloves and I'm digging in the soil and all this other stuff, and I take my gloves off, my hands are still dirty, and I still have dirt up under my nails. So I'm just thinking, you go to the bathroom and you wipe yourself, hopefully more than once, you know, the bacteria, and you're not washing your hands. Like and Caleb said the same thing. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So I'm sure when people went out to the outhouse, they didn't have diseases. Let me look this up about the diseases. Give me one moment. Okay, so let's look at this. While it is impossible to know the exact number of people who got sick or died from diseases due to not washing hands in the past, it is clear that poor hand hygiene contributed to a wide range of illnesses and deaths, particularly before the widespread adoption of hygiene practices in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Before this time, many medical professionals, for example, did not wash their hands between patients or procedures, including between dissecting corpses and delivering babies. This lack of hygiene contributed to the spread of diseases like puerperal fever, PUR. Here, hold on, let me copy it and paste this because this is gross. This is gross. I cannot pronounce the name of this disease. Puerperal fever, also known as childbed fever or postpartum infection, is a bacterial infection of the female reproductive tract following childbirth or miscarriage. It is characterized by a fever of 104 or higher that persists for more than 24 hours within the first 10 days after delivery. Other symptoms can include chills, lower abdominal pain, and potentially foul-smelling vaginal discharge. So your doctor just got finished dissecting a corpse. Miss Mary, 2 miles down the road, is about to have her baby. So he goes to deliver the baby and he didn't wash his hands. Think about on the battlefield. How many people, during battles like Civil War and Revolutionary War, whatever, and doctors are going from patient to patient and the bodily fluids and blood and everything, and you're not washing your hands. So this girl was really going to say that people went into the outhouse and they didn't get the diseases. Now, this is where my stupid comment comes in. How stupid can you be? How stupid can you be? And I am going to copy and paste this, what I was reading before. They say lack of awareness. Many people, including medical professionals, were unaware of the connection between hand washing and disease transmission. So that alone should tell you that back in the day, when they weren't washing their hands, diseases were being spread. So all those people who were in those prisons, you know, during the Civil War or whatever prison, if you're in a prison now, and if you're in a prison where it has just everyone is packed in like sardines, like some of these third world places or whatever, everybody's not taking a shower. Everybody's not washing their hands. Everyone's not bathing. Do you think you just may come down with something? Do you think you just may have a rash, at least? Remember that thing called ringworm? Anybody know what ringworm is? Known as tinea, is a common fungal infection of the skin, nails, or scalp, but not caused by a worm. It typically presents as a red, itchy, scaly, and sometimes ring-shaped rash, though it can appear as dry, cracked skin, or thickened, discolored nails. Treatment usually involves over-the-counter prescription antifungal creams and, in some cases, oral medications. It's a fungal infection. How is it spread? Through direct skin-to-skin contact with infected people or animals by touching contaminated objects like clothing, towels, or surfaces. Ringworm can be contagious until 48 hours after starting antifungal treatment. Skin-to-skin contact with infected people or animals. Touching contaminated objects like clothing, towels, or surfaces. Now, growing up, my mother always used to tell my sister and I, don't go around touching your friends. Just don't touch them. You don't know. You don't know what they have. That's what she would tell us. You know, and I don't know, maybe I got my psychosis from my mother. I don't know, probably. You know, those progressive commercials, you know, don't turn into your parents. Well, yeah, I have kind of turned into my mother and father to an extent, and my mother to an extent, you know, but when you think about it, just when you think about it, like I said, you know, when I come in from outside, I wash my hands because you're touching so many things. You know, when I get finished and when I'm at the market and sometimes I put gloves on if I'm going to the market, sometimes I don't. But as soon as I get back to my car, I'm doing the hand sanitizer, whatever, you know, soaking my hands with hand sanitizer. But hand sanitizer is not the same as soap and water. It just isn't. You need soap and water. So again, you think of, and I want to say this to people, and I'm going to say this to the people who are here listening. The rest of this weekend, or just take one day. Just take one day or one outing. And think about all the things that you touch Um, I know, Ace. I know. You know, but when you sit back and you just really think about the things that you touch on a daily basis, when you're outside of your home, those things are nasty. I mean, we already know doorknobs are already nasty. And it makes you literally not want to go out to eat. It makes you not want someone else to cook your food. It makes you, when you go sit down in a chair, you're looking at it like, can I wipe it down with the sanding wipe or a sanitizer wipe or whatever? It's gross. It is really gross. And unfortunately, Ace, there are some people who think that, not just kids, but adults who think that hand sanitizer is all you need. No, it's not. You need soap and water. You need to bathe on the regular. I'm not saying you got to take 5 baths and showers a day, whatever. But at least once a day, you need to scrub that down there. You need to get into the nooks and crannies. You need to get up in there a couple times. Wash, rinse, repeat. And it sounds funny, but it really isn't. When you think about that, we live in a society that, this is another reason why I'm glad that I have a garden. We live in a society that we go to the grocery store and you go to pick out your onions, your apples, your celery, your spinach, whatever you're getting. How many other people have touched it? The person who is taking, have you ever looked at the people, the workers there who were unboxing that stuff and they're putting it on the shelves? They're wearing gloves. When was the last time those gloves were clean? I see people here in California who literally will bring their dog into the grocery store, put them on that top part of the cart. I'm like, okay, people put their groceries there and your dog's behind is sitting there. Why is your dog in the grocery store anyway? They're not seeing eye dog. They're not. A dog for medical purposes. It's Fifi, your poodle, who you take everywhere with you. Seriously? How many times have we seen people at the market when they're getting grapes and they're literally grazing the grapes? You can't even buy grapes anymore because they've been opened and picked over because people have been grazing and eating the grapes out of the bag. I mean, seriously. You just people watch and you see these things and you shake your head and some things really just disgust you on a completely different level. So, uh-oh, uh-oh, Fifi, y'all, I gotta do it. I gotta do it because, uh-oh. Now, Blunt, what I'm about to do, don't start laughing, but I gotta do it. Will Ace take me up on it? I don't know, but she said I can't say Fifi, and I gotta ask about Fifi. The name Fifi. Okay, give me an okay. They took Maisie to the market with them because they take Maisie everywhere. So Maisie's butt is in the cart. Is Maisie a better name? Oh, okay.
Connect to my headset. Sad. You can't say the name Fifi. That's my sister's nickname. That's why. One of my sister's names is Fiona, and we call her Fifi for short. You can't be bringing her into these stories. She's a lawyer. I'm gonna tell her. I'm gonna tell her all about you. I'm like, this lady, you need to sue her because she brought up your name on my podcast, and it was a whole issue. She made you a poodle.
Well, I changed it to Maisie, which we all know where Maisie is coming from, right?
Look, it's still the fact that you brought Fifi in this. You said Fifi in my head. Went what?
Now, come on, now we know that French poodles. My name is Fifi. My poodle's name is Fifi in France.
I've
So,
never met a poodle
so,
named Fifi, and now that I think about it, I'm really offended because Fifi got really curly hair like a poodle now. So look,
okay,
I'm
so
telling.
Kellen, you know what? You go ahead and tell, and I am going to send some videos of the name Fifi. So, I was about to wind this up, and then you got into your feelings about Fifi, so I had to bring you in. So now you get a chance to be part of this.
Oh boy.
You have something that pissed you off this week? Because I do have something that pissed me off. But anyway, go ahead.
You mean outside of you bringing up my sister in this conversation?
Okay, so I pissed her off this week, y'all. So anything else that pissed
Nothing new. Look, she does it every week, y'all. Y'all don't even know. She purposely tries to like grind my gears.
Okay. Excuse me, I have to talk to my imaginary friend real quick. Who's I supposed to know her sister's name is Vivi? I don't know that. Okay, anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Know me for years, and she don't know my siblings' names. That's funny. No, okay, I can actually say something that did get underneath my skin today. Well, not even today, this week, several times. The people that like to say, "Oh, I'm different. I'm not like that," and then they do everything that they said they weren't gonna do. They be nevering like they never before. It's just ridiculous. I would never, but you nevering right now.
But do you call them out on it?
Yeah. The excuse was, "Oh, well, this is different." Different how? You doing the same thing. Prime example, a guy that says, "Oh, I'm not like that. It's not all about sex and yada yada yada." And I would never send unsolicited pictures, but yet the 2 times I talked to you, you brought up sex, and I'm like, "Bro, I don't even know you like that." Well, I just can't help it. I'm just a guy. Bitch, pause. It don't mean anything. Try me again. And if he ever catches this, I'm gonna die laughing. I'm gonna be like, "Yep, I was talking about you." And
Oh boy. Well, the thing that pissed me off this week, and I realized that three particular people that I know do this all the time. the people who always wait for you to buy something, then they want it. Ooh, can I have some? Or if you go into the store and you're purposely not buying anything because you know that they're going to want you to buy something, and if you do buy something, they put their stuff up with yours. Oh, can you just pay for this and I'll pay you back? Well, if you didn't have the money when you came to the store, why is it in your cart? I'm just saying, those people who always wait for you to buy something so they can borrow it or so they can take it. Ooh, can I have some? But as soon as you call them out on it, they're offended. How does that work? Tell me, how does that work? I'm just asking, how are you getting offended because I'm calling you out?
That wasn't my intention when we first walked in the store. It just kind of had happened that way. And you just being so rude about it. I don't know. I'm not one of those people, so I can't answer that.
Okay, so what I have done at times is, if I know that you're saying, hey, let's go to Walmart, let's go to Target, let's go wherever. Ace, I'll wait for you outside because I'm gonna make a phone call. Oh, you're not going in? No, you go ahead and I'll wait out here because I'm gonna make a phone call. Well, I'll wait. No, you go on. That right there is telling me, why do I have to go into the store? You are grown. You can't go into the store by yourself. Or you're hungry. Okay, I'm really not hungry. Well, why don't we stop here real quick or whatever? Okay, here, I'll wait in the car. You go get your food. You really not getting anything? Yeah, those are, that pissed me off this week.
For the record, y'all, it wasn't me because no.
It was not Ace. It was not Ace. But Ace, I would like a report on what Fifi said. I am going to send you some videos to show Fifi, whatever. So, yeah.
I guess it could have been work. You could have called her Princess Fiona and asked her where Shrek was. I may or may not have done that. But then again, this is my sister. I could pick on my sister. Nobody else can.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, then I'll just keep picking on Maisie. So anyway, y'all, that's the show. Sorry, had a hard time getting started, but until next time, which will be September 6th, no more shows for the rest of August. And until then, and Ace, I'm still in my feelings from last week because I still have a problem with that little second grader kicking you. I'm sorry. I'm having a problem with that. I'm having a problem. I am having a problem with that. So until next time, y'all. And Ace, thank you for popping on and coming into the space. Ace was in the space. Peace.